Hi, welcome to Conversations with Kelly, and today joining me for a conversation is a new author, Jennifer Jordan, and she has authored her new book, The Day I Tasted Sushi, which is a children's book. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And it didn't start off as a book in mind, right?
Correct.
Let's tell the audience how this book turned into a book that wasn't supposed to be a book.
Well, at this time, I work for Head Start, and we have a partnership with Local Matters, which comes into the schools and shows children how to make food from diverse areas.
Mm-hmm.
And so this particular time, the teachers were there and they were showing the children how to make sushi,
Mm-hmm.
a vegetable sushi roll. And so I thought, you know what, I have my camera, the children are here, let me just talk to the children and see what does it taste like, what does it feel like, what is the whole process, what does that feel like to the children. So I made it. I introduced the children to sushi. I asked them what they thought, what they felt, what did it taste like, and it just kind of went from there.
So when you said a diverse, your students, is this a predominantly black, is your classroom predominantly black, or is it pretty diverse?
Well, our agency serves almost about 3,000 children
Mm-hmm.
within Franklin County, and that particular classroom setting did have diverse children.
Diverse children. So when you introduced, because I was thinking that if I was in a classroom growing up and I was young and someone said I wanted to make sushi, because I was never introduced to it, I probably would think that it was weird or things like that. But you said you had a diverse group. Was it well received?
It was well received. You know, you still would have the one or two children that were a little apprehensive about the whole process. But I think because the children were making the sushi, they were rolling the sushi, the nori roll, the nori sheets, and so because they had an active participation with that,
Mm-hmm.
it was well received.
Now let me ask you a question. I know when I was getting introduced to sushi, when my husband was introducing me to sushi, I was kind of like turned off. Like, no, I'm not eating raw food. And I thought that's what sushi was raw fish or raw meat. And actually, he told me that sushi is named sushi because of the way the rice is prepared. So, lack of education. Here
Right.
we are thinking that sushi is raw fish or raw food, and here it is. The name is actually named that because of the way that you prepare the rice. So you started out just as a classroom activity. So how did it grow into a book?
It was towards the end of the school year, and I wanted the children and parents to have something that they could remember that school year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I combined all of the interviews with the children, their pictures, and I put together a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave the book to the teachers, and I gave the book to the parents. I really wanted the teachers to see how to take an everyday activity and expand it and extend it, and not just have an activity that's wasted. You do one activity and then you don't touch on it throughout the school year.
Mm-hmm.
So I made the book for the parents and teachers and just went from there. A friend of mine encouraged me to have it copyright, encouraged me to try to get it published, and this is the final
we
product
are.
2 years later.
Again, we have The Day I Tasted Sushi. What as I did read your book, and what I did find going through it, it is very kid friendly. And not only kid friendly, but sometimes things like for adults need to be kid friendly in order for some adults to even get it. Because I know sometimes, especially with some of the stuff that is coming home when my kids were small, some of the things that were coming home for homework, I was kind of like, oh my God, I need a tutor to tutor me to help my kids with homework. And even flipping through the book, I could actually, if I've never seen sushi prepared, I could actually take this book and go through it and actually, if I got the ingredients, and actually go through it and actually prepare sushi at home. It's as simple as that. So it's as simple as for a kindergartner to do it just as well as an adult. And actually, it seems like it would be a good activity for people at home that's interacting with their children. Just a good activity for families.
Correct.
To do, to introduce your kids to different cultural foods and things like that. So I liked it as well, and it was just very simplified, and I like that. And I noticed that your illustrations in here are great. And I know there's a story behind your illustrator.
Adriana Page is my illustrator. She's a 17-year-old student at Fort Hays Metropolitan High School. She is a tremendous illustrator. She has passion, and she's taken the time to draw the pictures for me. I really wanted a soft touch for the book. I didn't want the digital pictures from the original book. I wanted illustrations to make it child-friendly. And so that's where she came into play.
Now, when she drew these, where she actually, because I noticed some girls have ponytails with the little ponytail holders, which is, because normally when you see children's pictures, especially if they're just sketches, you don't see a lot of detail in hair where you can actually determine a person's culture, a person's race, just by me looking through here, and it's very diverse. I see Caucasian, I see African American, I see Hispanic, I see all of that in here, so it does represent, I see that you captured in your book where it is diverse throughout, and I like that about it. And not only that, is it makes you feel, when you're reading the book, when I'm going through it and reading the book, it made me feel like I was actually in that classroom, and I can actually picture what was going on, and that's what I liked about it. And not only that, is most times when people write books, they only capture the good things that are said. But you were bold enough to even put in here where one student, forget what page it is, when you asked the question, how did they like it, and they said, it was disgusting, or was it disgusting, nasty?
It was nasty. And actually, this final product manuscript is not the first manuscript. The names in this final book have been changed. The pictures have been changed because of the sensitivity and confidentiality from the actual children that I did use in the first book. But the name...
It doesn't seem like it took away the personality, though.
It didn't. And there was a child that honestly did say that it was nasty. And I wanted that reaction, because I think that if we show all the positives, that we'll give, some false thoughts for the...
Because there's going to be time, but what you wanted them to do is, it seemed like you just want them to taste it before, because I was actually sharing yesterday in church how, when my husband was trying to introduce me to sushi a couple years ago, how I was like, no, but I had never even tasted it. And once we taste things, we may say, and there's been things that he's introduced me to, and I'm like, disgusting, and then there's things I'll be like, wow, I really like this. So I like how you said that you captured all of that. You didn't mind putting in your book, this is nasty, this is not, and then one student say it tastes like chicken.
Right.
Yeah, so I just liked how you captured, the book captures all kind of different, emotions of how they felt about this sushi thing. I said sushi thing. Making of sushi.
I had never tasted sushi prior to that particular activity.
Well, what made you choose that activity?
Well, the partnership program brought that sushi there. I had to try it because the children were looking to me. They were looking for my cues to see if it was going to taste nasty or good. I was nervous. I was nervous, and honestly, I thought all these years that sushi meant that it was raw fish. And so I would not try it. And so now the recipe that we used was just rice and vegetables, and I thought, okay, I can do this. The children are watching me, and I'm really glad that I did.
So often we will shun something before we embrace it, because of what we may have heard about a certain thing, or just turning our nose up because of the way that it was presented to us. But I challenge, let me say this. I challenge anybody to try something for the first time. But now there's some things that I'm still kind of like, I don't know about that. I feel like I don't think I would like that. But then chitlins is one. Well, I don't eat pork anywhere anyway, but if I still ate pork, chitlins, I can't do it. Because something that smells that terrible, I just can't get past the smell. But again, we have Jennifer Jordan, and the name of her book is The Day I Tasted Sushi. It's a children's book, but it is adult friendly. And it's something that you can actually get where?
You can order online at Harlem Books and Media, online at their website,
www.harlembooks.com.
You can also go on Amazon and find the book, or you can order directly through me.
Do you have an email address?
I do. It's JJSteppingstone, JJSteppingstone@gmail.com.
Okay, and for more information, we will actually have that at the end of this episode, we will actually have her information out there on how to get this book. And also, Jennifer is available to do classes. She's actually done one at my church, where our youth at the Liberty Hill Baptist Church here in Columbus, Ohio, received it very well. And we didn't have nasties.
No,
I mean, our kids really embraced it really good. And she came and she read with the children, and then after she read with the children, she actually took them in the back, and they actually got to prepare sushi one-on-one. And actually, it's best to have a small type group.
Exactly.
You know, that way it'll be more hands-on and more personable. But you are able to handle big crowds.
And I also provide training for teachers. I work for Head Start, and for many years I provide professional development for teachers. So I'm available to provide training for teachers to take not only my book, but take any book off the shelf and show teachers how to do a walkthrough, how to expand it, how to ask open-ended questions, how to make that homeschool connection.
Good. Also, let's touch back on the Illustrator. There was something that actually happened after the book went to print with the Illustrator. Do you care to share that information with our viewers?
I will. Adriana lost her eyesight. Right after the book went to print, she woke up one morning. Her mother went to wake her up for school, and she said, "Mommy, I can't see." And she's completely lost her sight in both of her eyes. But you know what? She still paints. She still draws. She gave herself a French manicure the other day. She made her prom dress. That has not stopped her.
Wow. So, you know, that's just amazing how sometimes we in life, we can get thrown a curveball, Jennifer, and for some, life just stops.
Exactly.
And you know, for a 17-year-old to wake up one day and her life has been altered because of blindness, you know, you would think one would be like, you know what, my life is over, I can't see, I refuse to do anything else. But you said she's still.
She just gave herself a French manicure last week, fingers and toes.
Shut up.
She's completely blind. I asked, how does she do it? And she said that she can feel where her skin and her nails are, and she can draw the line. I mean, an average sighted person would not have that just wherewithal to just keep on pushing. She's still active in her community. She was just up for an opportunity to go to Japan to help tsunami victims and their families, and she has not stopped. I think a lot of us need to take cues from her.
Right, exactly. And you know what, let's take a shift now. And what I want to say is I always try to end interviews with a devotional, and I was trying to figure out, I was like, well, what kind of devotional can I come up with that surrounds around sushi? But this evening, what I would like to share is just the example from, is it Adriana?
Yes.
Adriana, here we have a 17-year-old girl who is Jennifer's illustrator for the book, The Day That I Tasted Sushi. And right when the book went to print, Adriana woke up one morning and her life had changed. She was blind. But even though that condition was there, it didn't really change her life to the point where she was actually bound by it, for lack of a better word. And we can learn from this. We can learn from, thank God for the day that I tasted sushi, because I can learn something as well as I'm sure you've learned something as well. In everyday life, we complain about so much. You know, and just like this week, we had some people that lost electric, you know, and we hear complaining about that. And then I'm sure there's been some complaining and some situations with, you know, CODA and them going on strike and things like that. And we can get so caught up in temporal things, because we know that CODA is eventually going to go back to driving the bus. They're going to come up with an agreement. And if not, there's going to be something else that's going to come into play. And we know that one day the electric is going to be on. But here this girl lost her eyesight, and she continues with life. She continues with life. And we can learn something from Adriana.
Exactly.
We can learn something. It doesn't matter what life throws us. Get up. Give yourself a French manicure. Even if you can't see your toes or your hands. Get up. And like you said, she paints every day.
She still paints.
She paints. She does anything.
Sews. She made her prom dress.
Yeah. Let's have that kind of drive like Ariana. I'm going to call this Ariana's drive. Let's have that kind of drive to where we refuse to stop just because we have been thrown a curveball in life. And I would like to just conclude that with, oh, also, Jennifer, Who did you dedicate this book to, and why?
I dedicated the book to my parents, Jim and Cora Jordan. They've been so inspirational to me. Those are my parents. They've already passed away years ago. But for them, they gave me life, but not just life in the sense of a physical life so that I could breathe, but just to teach me how to breathe, how to live boldly, how to love boldly. And I just really wanted to I've told them thank you, but I just really wanted to, this is something new for me. This is something so new. I told them about all my desires and my goals. This was something that I never thought that I would do. And I did.
And I'm glad you did.
Thank
And
you.
so many kids are glad you did, because she actually did a class at my daughter's school, Millennium, and my husband came over to help you because my husband, we actually published Jennifer's book, and he went over to help you, and he said by the time that y'all got done with it, he was walking out to go to the car, he was called Mr. Sushi Man,
Right.
Mr. Sushi Man. So kids really, really enjoying it, and it's not a thing where just don't shun it. Try it. But again, I can't get off this Adriana thing. I'm just so full right now because I think about so many things that we do and we complain about, and we just think, we have a breakup. Oh, life is over for me. Oh my God, I'm just going to die. Oh my God, Adriana's Drive has really just taught me something tonight. Keep moving forward. A girl is able to give herself a French manicure on her hands and toes, and she's blind.
She's definitely changed my life.
She made it happen. You said she can feel.
She can feel it.
She could have just said, you know what, I'm blind now. I'll never be able to give myself a French man. Keep it. She kept
Keep it
moving.
moving.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
No matter what state you find yourself in, as Paul says, be content. Be content, whatever that situation is. And if it's temporal, know that God is going to move it.
Exactly.
And if that is your lot, if that is just who you are today and who you're going to be, just be content and learn how to give yourself a French manicure in the midst of whatever situation you find yourself in. Thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you. Sure can. She has one more thing to say.
I have learned so many things from Adriana these past 2 years, and I like what Kelly said, keep it moving, and my own spin to it is, I've called it decluttering, and I've realized that I have to declutter my life, not just of physical things, but of things that are hindering me from moving forward.
There we go. So
Decluttering.
we got Adriana's Drive and decluttering.
Decluttering.
All right, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jennifer, for
Thank
sharing
you.
with us. And again, the day I tasted sushi,